All right, we are here at the start of the men's senior lightweight 8. This is a straight final. In the lane closest to us, that's going to be lane 3. You've got the Hanlon Boat Club. Lane 4, Ottawa Rowing Club. Lane 5, the University of Victoria. And lane 6, St. Catharines Rowing Club.
This is an exciting event. Again, it's a straight final, so these athletes, I'm sure they all know each other because it's an entirely Canadian spread here. Hanlon out of Toronto, Ottawa, our nation's capital, University of Victoria from the West Coast, and St. Catharines, the hometown crew. I know we've got the crew from St. Catharines stroked by Jacob Giesbrecht. Jacob and Eric Buchanan in 7, of course, winning the senior men's lightweight pair. But also, those guys won the lightweight 8 dash, as well as they were down at Club Nationals in July in the United States, and they won that as well.
But certainly a strong pedigree as well in the University of Victoria crew right next to them in lane 5. These athletes, you saw some of them racing in the under 23 lightweight straight 4. That was certainly Ellis Hollins, the stroke seat here in the 8. He stroked that 4, and Ellis has the pedigree. He's been in this race before. He won this race 2 years ago with the University of Western Ontario Boat Club in that almost the exact same lineup that he won this event in 2 years ago. They also went to the Head of the Charles that year. Ali, I believe you're familiar with how they did.
For sure, the University of Western Ontario, Ellis, part of that crew in 2016, would win lightweight 8 here at Henley, the lightweight 8 at the Ontario University Rowing Championships, and Head of the Charles that year as well.
So certainly the University of Victoria, bow pair as well, the Gulka brothers racing earlier in this week. Certainly a lot of names in that crew that you're going to recognize if you follow Canadian University rowing, and they're going to see if they can hold off the pedigree of the St. Catharines Club that won this 8, the dash version yesterday, the 500-meter dash. They won it, and yeah, it should be some really exciting racing.
You'll see here coxswain of the UVic boat, Bailey Coleman, an excellent driver. He's got loads of experience rowing out of the University of Victoria. And it's exciting because this is an event that we see very rarely at this point, having a full lightweight 8. And perhaps that's why, you only see 4 entries here.
Yeah, of course, these athletes, lightweight athletes, they will have had to weigh in every day that they race this week. So we mentioned earlier, some of them were in the lightweight pair, some of them in 4s, I'm sure doubles, singles, whole slew of racing over the course of this week. Every day that they raced, heats, semis, finals, some of them on multiple different days. They will have had to weigh in every single day at 72.5 kilograms or less. That's about 160 pounds. So typically you'll find these athletes on the shorter side, probably around 6 foot, not too many over 6 feet, maybe a little thinner, a little leaner, not too much mass on them, but very cardiovascularly powerful and very technically refined. We see here the University of Victoria rowing very cleanly, very well as they approach the 500-meter mark, about almost a boat length ahead of St. Catharines, which has, I want to say, maybe a foot over Ottawa.
That's exciting. I was going to say, UVic looks like they're sprinting it to the 5. So maybe that's part of their race plan. Maybe it's try and get their bow out ahead. And in this case, they've truly gotten their entire boat out ahead. When we see an 8, and it's just the sheer length, it's really hard to make up that much of a difference. So let's see if the University of Victoria can hang on to the lead that they've built in the first 500 meters.
And again, what they will do, they will rely on their coxswain. You said excellent driver sitting in the coxswain seat. And of course, we mentioned earlier, Ellis Hollins in the stroke seat from the Vancouver area, came to Western for 1 year for his first year, transferred back to the University of Victoria back in British Columbia. He competed last year for the Canada Summer Games team out of British Columbia. Just really an excellent lightweight rower, doing a really good job of leading this crew, leading this 8, and setting the tone as they try and stride away from the rest of the field.
Of course, their coach Albert coaching the crews out in at the FISU World University Championships that were in Shanghai. A couple medals there today. I know the men's 4 finishing 4th, the women's 8 capturing a silver, and the women's
double
also capturing a silver medal.
Yeah, the women's double, of course, I believe it was Christina Walker out of the University of British Columbia and Yara out of the University of Western Ontario. They were training out of the University of British Columbia boathouse for the last month or so, and they've gone over to Shanghai and captured silver in the FISU, that's the World University Games, double, so well done to them. Of course, UVic now striding away from the rest of the field back here at Canadian Henley. This is the men's senior lightweight 8. We're about halfway through the race. University of Victoria just a bit of open water over St. Catharines Rowing Club and Ottawa Rowing Club.
I'm really impressed with the way this University of Victoria crew is racing. It's obvious that their coach has taken some time to look at the rig of the boat. We can see they have a bucket. That's where two athletes row together on the same side, one seat behind or in front of the other. They're rowing very well. They look strong. It doesn't really look like they're working very hard. You can kind of even see the distance of their blades off the water each stroke. It's uniform. Everything looks very smooth. As they come through the 1,250 meter mark, I'm sure Bailey is almost planning a celebration here. He's thinking about it's going to be pretty sweet to cross the line, but he's not going to let off. His foot's on the gas. He's telling his guys, you know, yes, this is it. This is probably their last event. They won't be racing again today, and they'll have a little bit of a break before they go into the university season in the fall. But you can see even his posture is telling me he's excited.
Yeah, I think it's a really good observation. That University of Victoria crew, clearly well drilled, very technically refined. Their blade work looks pretty immaculate. I really like the way they're just getting up, they're getting to the catch, placing immediately. There is no hesitation up there. They're being very efficient, which typically you do see a lot of out of lightweight racing. It's kind of the name of the game, and they are just dominating this race. It's pretty impressive to see them that far ahead of the St. Catharines Rowing Club at the 1,500 meter mark. I would say about half a boat of open water, so perhaps 5-6 seconds, which is, I think, a substantial margin in a lightweight 8 race.
Absolutely. You know, we're not seeing a massive separation between the crews here, but the University of Victoria, I know they probably would have spent some time analyzing that St. Catharines crew, watching their results at different regattas, particularly that U.S. Club Nationals event back in July, and saying, okay, you know, are these guys something we have to worry about? What are their times looking like? We know times are relative to conditions, but it certainly looks like the St. Catharines crew putting on a really good finish here as they come into the last 300 meters of this race. It'd be remarkable if they could make up that much space. University of Victoria looking very comfortable out in front.
Yeah, you make a good point. The St. Catharines Rowing Club having really an excellent summer, going down and winning that race down in the States. Perhaps a little challenging for the University of Victoria athletes, really with, you know, if any of these athletes attended the Rowing Canada speed orders between those races and now, the only regatta they will have attended would have been the British Columbia Summer Championship for rowing, and that would have been 2-3 weeks ago now. And here they are striding across the line in the senior men's lightweight 8. See the celebration here, especially the picture-in-picture. Really well done. Bit of a hug there between Ellis and the Coxie, and between maybe, I think that's 6 and 7 seat, or maybe 5 and 6. Throwing on the brakes as well. You can just see them squaring, bearing their oars, making sure they don't kind of run up on shore. There's not a lot of space between the finish line and where the shore starts. Excellent race.
That was a really fantastic race from the University of Victoria Rowing Club. It's their summer program for the university, winning in a time of 6:04.31. That's 7 seconds over top of St. Catharines and Ottawa and Hanlon, rounding out a full Canadian final of the men's lightweight 8.
Well done to those athletes again. That's Christian Gulka, Sebastian Gulka, Samuel Pacheco, Jordan McDougall, Jacob Couchman, Adam Miller, Chris Clark, Ellis Hollins, and Bailey Cullman.